Hi everyone, happy Manga Monday. Today I'm going to be talking about Second Time is the Crime. Now this one is definitely a psychological, somewhat Stockholm Syndrome drama, slice of life. There is abuse, mental, physical, emotional. There's also confinement, like she literally gets chained to part of her house so she cannot physically leave. So if that is some stuff that you don't like, don't read it. And this is not complete, it is still ongoing.
Kagari Shiki is a 20-year-old housewife. Her husband is older, very rich, and somewhat influential. She tries her best to be the perfect wife, because if she messes up even the smallest amount, she will get punished. Her husband is physically, verbally, and mentally abusive. He tries to control everything she does for the most part and has a tracker on her phone so he knows where she is at all times. One day while at the movie theater, she runs into Saku-kun, and slowly over a short amount of time they actually create a friendship, and that friendship grows to love and to trust. And he tries to convince her to leave her husband because he remembers his mom being abused to the point of death, and he worries for her. She thinks about it, but even her own mom praises her husband so much because he sends her money. So she decides to stay, and the abuse continues until one day she can't take it anymore and she escapes. But her husband just won't let her go without a fight.
I find it, I don't want to say frustrating, I find it hard when reading stories like this where the female lead is able to escape. She escapes and then she goes back to her husband or her lover or her abuser. And I understand that I've actually had several female relatives who have been in abusive relationships where they do leave that person for like a short amount of time, or they're able to have that person removed from the home for a short amount of time, and then they're like, well, I miss him, I'm lonely, he didn't mean to, you know, they make up all the excuses. And it's just like, it hurts my head, it hurts my soul, because like, even though this is just a manga, these are fictional characters. Like I said, I've known people who've been in this situation, and I think everyone does at some point in time. So it's not necessarily hard to read when she goes back, but it's disappointing to read because you want your female characters to be strong and resilient, but realistically, it's actually quite true. Most of the time when women or people in general, men get abused too, when they get abused mentally, emotionally, physically, most of the time they tend to go back to the abuser because they've just been brainwashed to such an extent that they feel like they're in the wrong. There's actually, what is it called when it's not stonewalling? Frick, I can't remember what it's called. But it's where, anyway, it's just where they convince you that, you know, they didn't really do anything wrong, or that you misremembered situations. Gaslighting, there we go. I remembered it. So there, you know, there are situations where, you know, people get gaslighted so much that they end up believing what their abuser tells them, and they're just like, no, that's not what happened. It was this. I just misunderstood the situation. So I hate to say it, but technically this manga is correct with the fact that most of the time people will go back to their abusers, which is sad, but true. I do like how creepy the artist and the creator of the manga made the husband, you know, because he's someone who's in a suit. He's supposed to be fancy and has money and a person of power, and on the outside he looks normal, but then it's just like the switch just flips and then he's just looks psycho. But they're able to make him have like these really creepy smiles, like he's almost excited or thrilled with the fact that she's being disobedient or misbehaving, because then he gets to punish her. And it's like he really enjoys having that in his life, like a crazy person. So I do like how he is drawn and portrayed when he is being the bad guy. I like the secondary male lead, like the boyfriend or the lover. I like him a lot. You know, he's not necessarily like this giant beefed up judo martial arts tank that, you know, might appear in other manga or webtoons. He's just like a normal dude. To me, he looks like a 19-year-old kid who, you know, fell in love with this girl and he just wants to protect her and keep her safe. Like, that's how he looks. It's very reasonable with how he looks. He doesn't look like a tank. He looks like a normal person. And I like the fact that he is understanding with the fact that she goes back, but he hates it, and he's understanding because his mom's been through that situation. So it hurts him on the inside, but he also knows that, like, she has to make that choice to leave and be free. But I also am glad that he's like persistent and he doesn't just like abandon her, or is just like, well, screw you, like, you don't want to be with me, I don't want to be with you either. Yeah. Now, this is kind of like one of those little niches that I do like, because I like suspenseful thrillers. I like Stockholm Syndrome. I like the possessive male leads. So this kind of has like a bunch of stuff that I really enjoy in the manga. Now, in general, art is okay. You know, it's not like the cleanest, the crispest, the most detailed artwork out there. It's also not the worst I've ever seen. So it's like in a middle ground area. I am interested to see where it goes. Like, the whole point of it is, you know, like, is she going to be able to kill her husband? I don't know yet. Maybe. I don't even know if she's going to be able to kill him. I haven't even got to that part yet. So I'm interested to see what actually happens in this situation or in this story. I appreciate you guys watching. I need to go, but I will see you guys next week, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.